we don't have any pictures really of the Marques de Rubi. You will find some artist rendering, most famously Jose Cisneros has a lovely image, but they're drawn simply from the artist's imagination of what a peninsulari would look like in that period of time. And that's exactly what the Marques was a peninsulari. He is not native born, and he is not familiar with Mexico or of Texas. His real name, and those of you who are Anglos like me will laugh at my efforts to pronounce this correctly, is Cayetano Maria Pignatelli Rubi Corbera y Sant Clement Berendilinas, born in Barcelona in 1725. We'll just simply call him Marques de Rubi for simplicity's sake. My Anglo tongue tends to trip over all those beautiful syllables. His parents were minor nobles, which is not unusual for somebody working his way up through the Spanish nobility or the military at this time. He had earned his titles by his success as a military officer. So what we have is he arrives in Mexico in the fall of 1764, is a person from a minor noble family, a professional military officer, a high-ranking officer because he's successful, and a peninsulari. You might be able to understand that all of those things makes him less than sympathetic to some of the folks, the people, and the circumstances he might find out on the far frontier of Texas. In the fall of 64, he arrived in Mexico. He has only a few months to prepare. By the summer of 1765, he's received a communication from his king. Charles III wants him to make an inspection of all presidios on the northern frontier. This is the first time in 40 years that this inspection would have been made. Now, you have to picture that frontier. It's not just Texas. It stretches all the way from the Gulf of California to Louisiana. At this point in time, the development of the Spanish frontier, that means that there is a string of missions and presidios literally every 20 miles or so, all the way from the Gulf of California, or San Diego, all the way to New Orleans, Louisiana. Now, these are in various conditions, various states of development, but that had been the dream, that there would be this string of presidios and missions. It's now his job to inspect that entire string. So the Marques de Rubi will ride north from Mexico City in March of 1766. His journey will take him from the Gulf of California, Southern California, to Louisiana. That means he's going to ride 7,600 miles in 23 months. He's not alone. He is a noble. He is a high-ranking military officer. Therefore, as one historian described it, he is accompanied by a ponderous entourage. He has engineers, soldiers, wagons, carriages, music in case he gets bored. He has the finest food that he can haul with him. After all, if he is a nobleman, he should not have to travel in anything but the best comfort. Bless his heart, right? First he goes to New Mexico, all the way up to Santa Fe. From there he heads west to the Gulf of California. From California he swings back south through Sonora, then into Coahuila. He didn't cross into Texas until July of 1767. If you're counting, that means about 15 months after he left Mexico City, he crosses into Texas across the Rio Grande.